We have a chance to try to extend our season record to 12 games. And that's important for us, and that's the only thing that's really very much on my mind. And I think that speaks to the masses when I say that. Defense is playing great, special teams is getting great field position. The offense is winning, point of attack, find ways to win.
You can't get to there until you take care of what's next.
I want to be number one.
Do you think you are the best?
Right now, at the time in life and where I'm playing at, yes.
Oh yeah, Panther fans, where we going? We're heading to the Super Bowl, baby! And the C3 podcast is here because it's Tuesday night at 10 o'clock and we're going to celebrate NFC Champions. I was there in full effect. Can't wait to share my experience with you guys, and I thank everyone for joining us tonight, especially my homeboys from oldest to newest. Joe Riolano, a.k.a. that freaking Puerto Rican. What is up, my brother?
Tony, it's been a beautiful day here in Charleston, a day that you were able to get out and take care of some things where you got to really just enjoy being outdoors. And I have been waiting all day to hear about this trip to Charlotte that you went to and how fortunate you were to be able to go and see this team dominate, absolutely dominate the opponent. And in doing so, earn the right to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. We are going back, fellas. We are going back.
Going back to Cali. Mel Mayock reporting from enemy territory. Mel, how's it going and where are you at?
Oh, dude, I am exactly from the Space Needle down in downtown Seattle. And I've been wearing my Cam Newton jersey, walking around the mean streets of Seattle here, taking my chances, but having a blast, man. Super Bowl 50, man. Think about how old you are right now. Everybody out there, how old are you? How old were you 12 years ago? That's how old you were last time. That's how old the last time we went to the Super Bowl. That's amazing.
Now, tell us just how old you are.
I am 44, brother. 44, but I was 32 when we went to the Super Bowl. Different
All
life.
right.
Different
Well played, sir. Straight facts. My brother Tadeus is in the house. What's up, my man?
What's up, man? It just for the record, I was like 9-10 last time I went to the Super Bowl.
See? Think about how different the world was the last time we were in the Super Bowl. And thank you, T Money, for making me feel really old. I appreciate it. It's all right.
All right. Tonight we got a great show, guys. I finally have figured something out. It looks like I now know how to monitor the comments on YouTube as well in the live chat. Nice. So if you guys are in there, you can drop us a line. We got a lot of action going on Twitter, ton to talk about. We got a ton to talk about. And, guys, tonight's episode is Champions Want to Be the Champs. And that's episode 15.53. We're going to talk about Carson Palmer's best impression of a 2009 Jake Delhomme. We're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers defensive line, making him look like, I would say, like Ryan Lindley at times. And we're going to talk about...
I think they were missing Ryan Lindley.
Maybe. Joe Buck sure had plenty of excuses to give over. We're going to talk about my experience at the game and get all of your impressions while delivering some ice-up picks at the end of the show. And don't forget Fact or Fiction. And no, Lynn, I will not be showing my greatest impression of Brass Monkey. That was on Periscope at Howl at the Moon in Charlotte, and I believe Periscope deletes after 24 hours. Joe, is that correct?
I think so.
I'll pay good
I
money.
believe that is
I'll pay
correct.
good money to see that, man.
Well, you could have watched it. It was all over the internet, and people loved it. And I was a star in Charlotte for doing the Brass Monkey.
Nice.
So, like always, you can follow us at cat_chronicles. You can tweet the show using the hashtag C3. You can drop a chat in the live YouTube chat. And if you are listening later, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, whatever your podcast listener is. And drop us a line if you'd like at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com. We'd love to talk with the fans. I can't tell you guys how many Panther fans came up to me and said they love the podcast. And that was a pretty neat experience. I was at the Roaring Right tailgate. Tons of people there, a big party. And I can tell you, it was certainly what's hot.
Austria. Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
No, I'm just getting warmed up. Here's Charlie facing the fire, and there's George hiding in Big Daddy's pocket.
Dylan and Dylan, because I spit hot fire.
Like a flamethrower to this place.
What's hot on C3? Other than people talking about Drunk Tony singing Brass Monkey in front of 500 people on Twitter, I tell you what's hot, and that's the Carolina Panthers. We are currently 17-1. We beat anybody who comes after us. Anybody. All the naysayers like to pick against us, and all we do is win, 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 win. That's right. All we do is win. Mel, how did you feel about this game? Go ahead and just initial reaction as you watched it.
It was vindication, because I got to tell you, the entire season, as you well know, until we got into the postseason, I felt like nervous before every game. I felt like, oh man, we might lose to Jacksonville. Man, that Houston team, they're tough. So it was a lot of that all year. But once it got to the playoffs, man, I mean, cream rises to the top. There are no letdown games, and we are the best team in the NFL. So to see us go out there and dominate Seattle and dominate Arizona, it was so gratifying. It was awesome.
Today give us the straight facts of this game. As a fan watching this, what were your impressions? How impressed were you?
Man, it was total domination, man. We destroyed them to an extent that hasn't been seen in the NFC Championship game before. And I want a 50 though. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, man, when Bruce Aaron, when they came out and the reporter was saying Bruce Aaron said y'all the worst second half team in the league, and if we do something in the first 5 minutes, we're gonna win.
Yeah.
Man, my family was around me, and I said, I promise y'all, I want 50, man. I want it. I want it.
The professor wanted 70 the week before.
That's right. I think what T-Money's referring to is this right here.
He did tell his team, Joe, this Carolina Panthers team, they're the worst second-half team in the NFL, and he told me
there you go.
if they can do anything in these first 5.5 minutes, then Arizona's going to win the game.
If they could do anything in the first 5.5 minutes of next week's game, I'd be impressed because they're not in it, and on top of that, they didn't do anything for 7 minutes into the second half, and literally they really just didn't do anything but turn the ball over. Joey, Carson Palmer was a turnover machine. I think he could have had really 8 turnovers.
I think he channeled his inner Jake Delhomme. He channeled his inner Jake Delhomme.
Joey, what the heck was going on with Carson Palmer?
You know, it's funny. When I was watching this, it was like watching that game where Jake Delhomme completely fell apart. But
2008.
This time it was the other quarterback, and instead of wallowing in tears, I was cheering and screaming like a maniac.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just so, it was surreal having been through the Jake Delhomme experience and then being on the other side of it.
Came full circle. It was awesome.
Yeah, really. It was just, I was elated. I was so happy. Nobody could do any wrong in the world to me at that. I was just so happy.
Aaron Halbeson, and sorry if I mispronounced your name. Aaron on YouTube says he was worse than Jake. Is there any concern, guys, that we look better because he was so bad?
No, I think the difference is with Jake was making the right decisions. He just didn't have the arm to do it. Which I mean, I love Jake, but we all knew he didn't have elite arm strength. He didn't have elite accuracy. He was just his personality, his heart, just is what pushed him to be to the level that he got us to. With Carson, it's no excuse. I know they tried to use the finger, which Joe Buck had me irritated with that, but Carson Palmer can make any throw you want him to make, and he can go down the field. He was just throwing it in some what do you even see out there type of situation.
Right, what are you looking at? Right, that's what I caught myself wondering. Like, why did you throw that to him? And I believe that the finger did have something to do with it, but if it's that bad, then take him out of the game, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's
it was good enough to beat Green Bay.
Exactly.
That's Aaron said first during the regular season. If anything, he should have sat that last game versus Seattle. During the playoffs, it was.
In the playoffs, there are no excuses in the playoffs. You win or you go home, and they're at home.
Right.
It wasn't the damn finger. You know, it wasn't. I mean, he was a mental mess.
He was.
Well, he was constantly harassed. The Carolina Panthers defensive line was making him nervous. Nervous.
That pass rush that we complained about in weeks 14 through 17, it has come back in a big way. Big money was not small change in this game, was he not?
Not at all. No, not at all.
Played big time. So that was the difference in the game. That and our offensive line.
And the new big money, the new big money, Kawhi Short, because that's what he's going to be as a season, man.
Yes, sir.
That guy played out of his mind. Everybody on the defensive line played fantastic. And you're right, Joey. It wasn't just their mistakes. Their mistakes were created by a team that played with a tenacity that we haven't even seen this season. And I tell you, how many times throughout this year on this podcast have we said this very thing, is that the Panthers have put up 30 and they won this game by a lot, and they still haven't put it all together. They've done this, and they have, the defense won the game for us, and the offense was not there. I feel like this was the complete game. Everybody was involved. Jonathan Stewart was running the ball. Cam Newton was throwing the ball. Olsen was in there. Ted Ginn was in there. Corey Brown was in there. Funchess was in there. And then the defense, every player on the defense made a play. Every single player.
McLean.
How much better we look with Trey Boston in there, man.
Woo, yeah.
That secondary was looking deadly with him in there, man. We just way more athletic, and we can fly with him on the field.
Now, that is a point. I'm glad you brought that up, T-Money, because that's something I don't think that's really been touched on by many people. He came into the game to replace Harper, and I was amazed at what he was doing. Why hasn't he been out on the field before if he can do this? He was around the ball. He was around the ball all the time. He was making tackles. I was really impressed with this play. I don't see why, even if Harper is ready and can play, I don't see why you would start him after the game that Boston had.
I agree. And with Boston,
Mel, what do you think about the Trey Boston? Trey Boston has been there was something that when he came out of college, there was something about him kind of being, I don't know, there's some sort of weird rumor surrounding him that I don't know if he was a good locker room dude or something.
The word was he was kind of a diva, kind of into himself and not a team guy. You know, it kind of fit the rest of the UNC Tar Heel Nation. Just playing, guys. Just kidding. Just kidding. I went to T-State. but no, that was that was the rap on him coming out of school. But man, I tell you, they're not going to start Trey Boston because you're in the biggest game, and they're going to go with the guy that they trust, and they trust Roman Harper. He's going to be Mr. Reliable, but he's going to get some snaps. Trey Boston's going to get in there. They're going to blitz him, and he's going to get more and more attempts. And next year, I could see a lot more of him.
You know, Just Jones believes that he did steal the starting job. Tell me, T-Money, what do you see different about the team with a guy like Trey Boston out there? Because, you know, we saw him make some big plays last year. When he's gotten in there, he's capitalized this year. And, you know, I think he's been learning the game. Are you ready, though, to put him in as a starter in the Super Bowl?
In the Super Bowl? I don't think you get new starters in the Super Bowl.
First of all, his range allows us to defend differently. With Roman, you always have to, even when Roman's over the top, you still have to give Roman help because Roman can get burnt, and we've seen that when he plays good tight ends and good receivers. I don't know if anybody remembers the Jimmy Graham with Seattle game. His one good game on here. With Trey, he can go across the field, and his coverage skills is better because at UNC he played corner, he played both safety positions. And he can cover a lot better than Roman can at this point, and you can trust him more to make plays because he had a fumble recovery and a pick in a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that sack he had against Seattle was amazing.
Yeah. And me, I never let Roman start, even on Madden. I either put Boston or put Charles Tillman back there. So I've been doing it.
Peanut. We miss him.
I same thing. I put Boston in the lineup.
Let's talk about the Thomas Davis injury. Are you concerned, Joey, about Thomas Davis getting surgery on his hand? And I'll let on his arm. Joey, broken forearm for Thomas Davis. How concerning is that for you going into the Super Bowl?
Well, when I saw the injury, when I saw him make the hit and then grab his arm, I was like, oh my God, he broke his arm. And yes, he sure did. I was concerned, but I knew we had a player in Shaq Thompson. I knew we had somebody who could step up and, you know, make plays. Shaq Thompson as well as Klein. You know, we had both of them on the bench, so I felt okay. And I'm not surprised at all that he is determined to play in the Super Bowl. And when he says he'll be ready to play, I believe him. After what he's been through, I take the man at his word.
He is just finishing the story of the toughest player in Panther history, coming back from 3 torn ACLs and then playing in the Super Bowl with a broken arm. I mean, it's just legendary.
Isn't he?
Yeah. I mean,
he's
the definition of tough.
They're gonna like put his picture beside Iron Man in the dictionary. You know, I am worried about this injury, and I'm not gonna lie. Is that Thomas Davis has been playing really. He's just been great this year, and he got hurt in the first half, if I remember correctly.
And he had 6 tackles already.
And these weren't regular tackles. These were sniffing out plays.
These were film studies tackles. They were film studies.
Laying the wood tackles.
He just got back there and creamed them. Straight money. There has to be some straight money.
That's not a bad name.
There has to be a little concern when you say Thomas Davis could be hindered. What kind of cast are they going to have to give him? Like
don't have one of them Gronk casts.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But pretty much the ESPN doctor I was watching today, she said the way he injured it, it is lucky where it's at, and that he will be able to play with it.
Yeah, if it would have been like above the elbow and he'd have broken it up there, like closer to the shoulder, I think it would have been a problem. But since it's down below the elbow, I think that is what allows him to be able to play.
Yeah, he said if it was that or if it was closer to his hand, and yeah, he's definitely not playing. But my biggest concern is not with Shaq. It's with if we got to play AJ Klein, because
Yes.
AJ Klein in coverage. Oh my! I don't know what he be reading, what he be seeing. He be looking so lost. Anytime preseason, regular games.
I thought he's been pretty good this year.
In coverage?
He is weak in coverage. He's great against the run.
Yeah,
Or I won't say
yeah.
great. He's strong against the run. But you know
He
what?
weakens his coverage, yes.
He's
It
too
is.
slow. He's a little too slow. Like his lateral
I think-
speed is just not there.
So they'll probably put him in on rushing downs and Shaq in on
And
passing.
Shaq in on the passing. 'Cause
I
Shaq
bet
played
you
well.
this is that. I bet you they're ready to start Shaq for pretty much like all game long.
I mean, when we was running man, he was on Larry Fitzgerald. I don't know if anybody else knows.
Right,
Yeah,
saw that.
exactly.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And what did Larry Fitzgerald have yards wise?
Not much.
30
30?
yards. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about the atmosphere of this game. This was a historic game, fellas. The very first NFC Championship in Charlotte. T-Money, do you live in Charlotte?
I live in Kings Mountain, so that's like 20 minutes
It's
away.
close. Yeah.
How was the atmosphere leading up to this game, and how has it been around there just on the streets?
It's been crazy, man. A lot of people already been hype about the Panthers. Even the older people that like the Cowboys and stuff. They feel good anytime we do something. Because they say
Those 44-year-olds.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been crazy, man. And everywhere, everybody that knows me pretty much knows I have something Panthers on almost every day, whether it's a hoodie, a shirt, or something. And even going to school today, man, teachers coming up to me, oh man, how about them Panthers? And crazy around here, man.
It's awesome.
It's funny because I went to pick up Eric from his after-school care. The other day I had on my Panthers jacket, and I was walking in, and one of the kids that was there, his dad was up walking out with this kid. He said, I like that jacket, man. That jacket's all right. And, he was giving me props for being a Panther fan, so.
I dabbed on 2 people today. Just
Tony is that more just in the face.
Nice.
Just random people. I just dabbed on them. All right. What did you think it looked like from the outside? I'm curious to hear that. Joey, watching on TV. How did you think the atmosphere seemed from afar?
Oh, it looked like that place was going nuts. Literally like the place was going crazy. I mean, you could see the enthusiasm and just the electricity that was running through the stadium. I was really wishing I was there, despite not being able to go. I was really wishing I had gone, just to be a part of that, to feel that. I went to a New York Yankees game against the Boston Red Sox, and that's how it felt. I imagined it to feel like that, just that anticipation, the excitement at the plays being made, and it was huge plays, man. Interceptions, fumble recoveries, sacks, long runs. You got to see it all.
Yeah, it was crazy. The only thing we didn't get to see is a kick return.
Yeah.
Right, and you almost did. If Teddy Ginn wouldn't have slipped, you would have seen a punt return.
Taking that back.
Here, I want to play you guys, and I'm going to tell you what I saw from the stands, but I caught up with, I bumped into Brandon Truesdale, and if you're on Twitter, you have seen this name before, because this is one of the nicest Panther fans, and this dude's hardcore. And he came up to me, he said, I saw you guys in Jacksonville, but you were out there trying to sell a towel or something, so But here's what Brandon had to say from the Roaring Riot tailgate. What's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon, you come from
Orlando.
Orlando.
Yes, sir.
And you come to every game.
Every home game and sometimes away games.
How special has this season been?
Words can't even describe it. Nobody would have thought, actually with Kevin Benjamin going, nobody would have thought we'd be 15-1. Personally, I thought that we'd probably be 9-7 or 10-6 making a wild card.
Right. Or division.
Yeah, division. I would never thought that we would be the number 1 seed in the NFL.
How did we do it?
I just pretty much say Cam and Olsen on offense.
Good coaching has been great, hasn't it?
It's been good so far, man. So far.
How long have you been coming to the games?
I've been a PSL owner for like 5 years, so I've been coming back and forth for 5 years.
Have you ever experienced a season like this before?
When we played that year, we went 13-3 with San Francisco. I mean, we played San Francisco, we lost to them. It was almost like that, but not really as like the fan base like it is now.
Why do you think we're better?
I would say the coaching. Just say the coaching improved.
Cam, yeah, Cam is really growing up, isn't he?
He's getting better. He before he would put passes in the middle of the field that he knew he wasn't supposed to throw, but now he's getting better at it.
When the idea of the Panthers, what do you think tonight? Are you anxious for tonight's game?
I'm too anxious.
What, are you concerned or just excited?
I'm not really concerned. I'm just if they play the game like they're supposed to play it, then I think we'll be okay. I'm just too anxious right now.
And it was loud. They drank over the Roaring Riot tailgate, guys. Was so big, they went through 15 or 16 kegs and 30 gallons of Jack Daniel's liquor.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now that was everybody else, or that was you?
Speaking of Roaring Riot, I was watching an ESPN special this afternoon where they were talking about the 2 Spanish announcers for the Panthers, and how listening to their calls has become something cool. You know what I mean? Where even Panther fans are listening to their broadcasts and they don't even speak Spanish. But they had a picture of a Latino holding up this really big sign, and it said Roaring Riot on it. So Roaring Riot has made it to ESPN.
Nice.
So I know.
Oh yeah, the NFL Game Day was there, or NFL Tailgate something from the NFL Network was there.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Observer was out there, checking out what was going on. We got pictures. Even the DJ was sporting a Cam Wow.
Yeah.
It was little Braylon was out there.
Nice.
And Coach Braylon was out there. I got to speak with his dad, and I was trying to figure it out.
Man, I swear Braylon be at every game, man.
Oh, dude.
He is. On the field, man.
That little kid is way too cool, too. It's kind of freaky.
He's
awesome.
How
can you be 7 years or whatever? I think he's 8 years old, 7 years old, and he's cool as cute. He handles stardom insanely well.
But you know what? That shows you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that shows you how much bigger this is than a kid's game. That little kid is fighting brain cancer, starting when he was 6 years old. I mean, this is lifting him up above all that crap he's got to go through.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to be there for the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Oh, certainly. He'll be on the sidelines probably. Here, I got one more. I got another fan take that I want to play for you from the game. I'll tell you what we ran into while we were in there. So what's your name?
Brian Weathersby.
And you're a Greenville guy too, right?
Greenville, North Carolina, man.
Greenville right here.
Yeah.
You live here in Charlotte?
Live here in Charlotte now, yeah.
You're a PSL owner?
PSL owner.
How long?
7 years. This is our
7 years.
7th season.
So you've got some history with the team.
Yeah.
How is this season compared to other seasons?
It's a special season, man. This is special. Some people get caught up in numbers. They say 7 is a number of completion. I believe it, man.
Right.
This is the year we complete. And we go to the Super Bowl, man.
I like it.
feel? Are you anxious about the game today?
Very anxious. Stomach's turning.
Are you nervous or excited?
I believe if we go out and execute, we can win. We're the best team in the NFL.
Great. How, though? How are we that good? We all know this. We all started the season. Kelvin Benjamin gets hurt.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to win the division because we're probably the best team in the division. But 15-1, #1 seed in the NFL.
Hey, when you start out with a front seven like we have, and you have a special player like Cam Newton.
Tell me about Cam Newton. What is different about him this year?
He's playing with confidence, man. He's kind of put all the naysayers behind him and said, hey, I'm going to be Cam, and let Cam be Cam, and it's been incredible, man.
So I was trying to feel out the crowds. I got to talk to a lot of people, meet a ton of fans. And one of the things is I didn't find an enormous amount of fans talking about the game incessantly. They were just enjoying themselves, right? I mean, obviously, they were drinking a ton, too. I forgot. I got a 40-year-old Panthers fan, this woman, slapping this chick on film. Backhanding like an 18-year-old girl. Yeah, it was a fight. She over the fence. I'll have to put that out later. But I just remembered it. But I was sitting there wondering why people weren't just like breaking down every aspect of the game, talking about the team. And I thought it was an anxiousness, like an excitement, like waiting for the game.
Well, you know what? I told my wife this, that back in 2003. I worried about the game so much. I was so enthralled in every block, and every time we messed up or an offsides penalty or missed anything, it was just the end of the world, and I was so tense. I can't even remember enjoying the game. This year I said, you know what, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to be like Cam Newton. I'm just going to have fun. If we lose, you know what, we get up tomorrow, but I'm just going to have fun and watch the game.
I think that's exactly what I discovered, is I think that there is a quiet confidence among Panther fans right now where we're not concerned. Right. And that is where, sure, we were anxious as we were ready for this game to get here, right? But there was a supreme confidence in there. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, when I went into that stadium, it took a little while to fill up. I'm not going to lie. Panther fans, not the most punctual bunch. But as that place started to fill up, you could feel the excitement. No Cardinal fans. There was 3 Cardinal fans beside us. How they got put there. They left at halftime, by the way.
I imagine.
On top of that, the player introductions, guys, the intensity of when they came out there, the intensity of when the players came out. Mike Tolbert crawling like a dang some animal out of like a Lord of the Rings movie.
How about the big cat hitting the drum?
I know. Oh, that was voted by Trip Morgan his favorite moment of the game. Guys, I gotta tell you this. My favorite moment of the game was before the game even started, and it was when Cam Newton came out of the tunnel. He was the last player to come out, and he comes out through fire and smoke, taking his time. That dude is playing with a level, like Brian said before the game started, with a newfound confidence. And what he knows is this, is that stadium of 82,000 people or whatever it was ready to rip down anything for him. Like, I mean, it was so intense. Now, guys, when we broke out to an early lead, a lot of excitement. But I'm going to tell you this, and this is the God's honest truth. When Joe Buck, I went back and watched the replay, when Joe Buck said that the place was literally shaking, he was not lying, guys. I caught myself standing still for the one moment of the game in the fourth quarter, and I could feel the stadium flex.
Wow.
Like it was flexing. I mean, you could feel it. So then, running into this, the next day, we don't get back till 3:30 in the morning. Then I get back to my car. It's iced over. I got to sit in my buddy's driveway and wait for the crap to defrost. I'm just like, waiting and waiting, right? So I go to work on 2 hours of sleep, and I got a class, and one of my students was there. And I mean, one of my students was at the game, and she said, I was worried. She was concerned about the stadium. It was
wow.
shaking so much.
Wow.
She said that she thought an actual earthquake happened. Now, I'm going to tell you this. That home field advantage, I cannot tell you how much. I won't say it helps because I think the Panthers could have beat them anywhere, but the Panthers just cradled that emotion or captured it and just delivered the wood. It was insane. So I want to ask you guys this because, and then we're going to move on. My question is this: what's your favorite moment of the game? Joey, what was your favorite moment? You said you've watched that game a couple of times. What's your favorite moment of this game?
I think it's going to have to be where Cam threw the interception on the one play on the overthrow, and there was a big return, huge return, and I think Peterson would have scored had Ted Ginn not come from nowhere, really came out of nowhere and tackled him. And then on the very next play, we got the interception in the end zone. I think that was my favorite. It's really two plays, but series of plays was the Ted Ginn tackle that saved the touchdown, and then the interception by Coleman in the end zone.
Kurt Coleman,
yeah, by Coleman in the end zone. Those were my two plays. They were two different plays, but that series was my favorite part of the whole game. Because nobody could have caught Peterson except Ginn. He's the only guy.
20
the only guy on that field that could have caught him.
Yeah, but he caught, like T Money said, he was 20 yards behind him. He came flying. That was the fastest I've ever seen him
literally
run.
Flying out of nowhere.
You know what, though? I'm going to say this is, for everything I've been hard on Ted Ginn, what a fantastic game he's had, and he's really been important to this team. And that
touchdown he had was the spark, the catalyst that got us going, man. He could have easily gone out of bounds right there.
Let me ask T Money. I want to ask T Money, what was your favorite play of the game?
It's got to be one of the two Cam plays, but I'm gonna pick the one where he runs over their corner of safety on the sideline, and he gets up. He ran him over for the first down, and he gets up, throws the ball down. And you can just see like the excitement, man, the love, and how much he put his body on the line for our team, man.
Yeah.
All right, Mel, tell us your favorite play of the game, and I want people on Twitter and on YouTube to chime in and tell us your favorite.
All right, I'm gonna give you two. All right, favorite play was Luke Kuechly intercepting and taking that pick six. I mean, that was not a bad pass. That was not a bad read. That was just a great play by a great player. But my favorite moment is iconic in Panther history. I mean, nothing epitomizes the resiliency of the area that I'll call home, the Carolinas, more than a 79-year-old man who had a heart transplant, who put Charlotte on the map by bringing the Panthers to town, out there banging on that drum. I mean, that is just a moment that forever will live in Panthers infamy, in my opinion. So that was just the iconic moment of the night.
All right. Speaking of that, a lot of people on YouTube are echoing your sentiment. And speaking of echoing, Matt Craig on YouTube says, "I went to the game and it was insane. In my opinion, the loudest moment was the Luke pick six. Everyone was standing the whole game, and he couldn't hear himself screaming on defense. That place was loud. Look, we got Luke pick six. Davis, that one monster hit. I'm with you. Davis had two of those, so like we could coin flip it between that. And I'm going to check over on Twitter and see what people are saying. Susan saying Ginn's rundown of Patrick Peterson She was impressed with that.
But Susan also said she has never dabbed on somebody, so we need to start a petition to change that. Come on, Susan, you got to dab on somebody.
She's pulling the Greg Olson.
Oh,
that's what she is.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, even the big cat has dabbed.
Yeah, even the big cat has dabbed.
All right, let's. I think what we do need to do is, I don't know what we need to do. Where are we going next in the show? I don't even know. Joey, where do we go next?
Let's go to Abby's favorite part.
Let's
do
this. Let's do this. Speaking of dabbing,
I just like doing it, man. Dab on them folks. Dab on them folks. Dab on them folks. They're not seeing it.
It's like doing it.
Dab on them folks.
this is that time of the show where we dab on them folks, or actually we say who really did the dabbing, and we call out our player of the game.
That's it.
T-Money, who is your dab on them folks pick of the week?
You said that's the player of the game?
Player of the game.
You got to dab at the end of it now.
Nah.
Come on now.
Come on our show and play by our rules.
You're not too cool to dab. You're not too cool to dab. You're not too cool to dab.
I gotta go. Kid, man.
We lost his audio too. No dabbing on you.
Y'all can hear me?
All right, we're going to Mel. Mel, who's your dab on them folks?
Well, I tweeted out a little bit earlier in this week. You go back and you watch that game. Yes, Cam was fantastic. Yes, the wide receivers are fantastic. Jonathan Stewart's fantastic. But none of that happens without the dominating play of the 5 offensive linemen. Michael Orr, Andrew Norwell, Ryan Khalil, Trey Turner, Mike Remmers. Those guys kept Cam upright and clean and form that pocket. None of that would have been possible without those 5. And that's going to be the key to the Super Bowl, too. So for the starting 5 offensive linemen for the Panthers, dab on them, baby. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a great call.
Joe Riolano, jump in there and tell us who your dab on them folks pick is.
Well, mine is a low-hanging fruit. My dab on player of the game, of course, is number 1, Superman, Mr. Cam Newton, Mr. Do-It-All, Mr. Lay It All Out and Leave It All on the Field for your team. I called it all week long. I said, for us to be successful in this game, that we're going to have to run the ball effectively, and Cam was going to have to be a part of that. And he ran 10 plays, ran 10 times for 47 yards, which is fair. And he scored twice. So I think he was the key to the game, at least the offense, along with that offensive line, like you mentioned. So, Cam, to you this week, I'm going to dab for you, sir.
Nice.
Well done. On YouTube, we got Jay Stu, another breakout game, 125 plus. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give it to Ted Ginn.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
We can't hear you, T Money. You gotta back out and come back in. We can't hear you. So, for me, it's Ted Ginn because I'm going to say this, is that I have been the most critical of Ted Ginn probably out of anybody.
You have been his fuel, though. You have fueled him to be better.
Y'all can hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You're back. Now. So for Ted Ginn, for the touchdowns, for catching it, for doing all those, for catching it. How about that? For catching the ball, for catching Patrick Peterson. To you, sir, you are my dab on them folks pick of the week. All right, let's keep on moving and rolling. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, guys. We got to turn. We're 47 minutes into the show.
We got to get your pick. We got to get T-Money's dab.
He said Cam Newton.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear.
But he won't dab for us.
He's too cool to dab. He's like Susan in South Carolina. You're our boy. Peer pressure works every time. That's it.
T-Money came in there and did this one.
We love T-Money.
Hold on, folks. They got it. All right. Super Bowl 50.
50.
That is just cool in itself. It sounds cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What's the Roman numeral for 50?
Isn't it
Is it
L?
an easy one?
L?
It's an L, I think.
Yeah.
So is that for the Broncos?
I'm glad they didn't decide to do that. I like 50 better than that. Nobody wants to win an L.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they did decide to go with the 50 over than the Roman numeral.
5-0. Yeah, because the L would have just looked funny.
All right, I did not get to see a single snap of the Broncos game except for the 2 that they played on the big screen at the game.
Oh, the crowd went crazy.
Yeah, and I was cheering for the Pats, and I know that's going to be crazy. I wanted the Pats. I wanted them. I wanted revenge. I wanted revenge. All right, Joey, what's your impression going into Super Bowl 50? The Carolina Panthers, the hottest team in the NFL, we're playing a Denver Broncos team with a fantastic defense. Let's not even just say anything but that. They're probably the best defense in the league, or I guess statistically they have been.
They are number one.
The offense has been struggling. Joey, give us your take going into Super Bowl 50.
The offense has struggled. I'm comfortable with our defense against their offense. They do have weapons in the form of the receiver number 10. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. That played
Emmanuel Sanders.
Sanders, yeah. And then they have 88, who has done nothing. He's really not done anything this year. He's been sort of absentee. And, of course, they have Owens, the tight end, who, had the 2 touchdown passes that he caught in this past game. But the running game has been okay at times. So offensively, I'm not really worried, but their defense is good. It's very good, and it's a 3-4, which we sometimes have trouble with. But the way we've been playing, it doesn't matter what your defense can do or has done in the past. We've taken it to every team that we've played, and I think we're going to end up doing the same to this team. Greg Olsen. They don't have anybody on the team that can really cover Greg Olsen. He's going to be a problem for them.
Do you guys have any ideas how many yards every quarterback that the Denver Broncos have played this year, you rack up their entire season's rushing yards? You know how many there is?
300, 200.
Less than
244 yards. Absolutely. 244 yards are all the quarterbacks that they face this year, total rushing.
Oh, but they've never faced Cam Newton.
They've never faced Cam Newton, anything like Cam Newton. So it's going to be interesting.
Speaking of that, Dutchman 89, if our O-line holds up, I think we have no problem playing methodical, keep away, and solid defense to secure the win. T-Money, how's our offensive line going to hold up against Doomerville and them boys? Isn't it Doom, or did he go to the?
Oh, he's gone.
It's not Doomerville. It's the other. What's the other guy?
Von Miller and Demarius.
That's who I'm thinking of. Von Miller.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware.
Honestly, you can't rush us, but so much just because our run game, first of all, and then not just the running backs. Cam's ability. You have to watch Cam. When Cam gives you that fake, you have to respect it. If not, he's gonna score. Because a lot of our plays are pass and running reads at the same time. So it's not Cam just doing that fake read action to pass. It's him reading. If he has it, he's going to run the read option. If he's not, he's going to pass it. So you have that stops you in your pass rush because you have to wait that second to make sure Cam's not going off, or the other stuff we've been doing lately, the jet sweeps, the plays to the wide receivers. And
What about how good of the reverse was with Ted Ginn in this game? In that, I like how they pointed out how we pulled a guard to the right side and really sold it that way. Yeah, we have that. We have Cam in our arsenal. We've got Jonathan Stewart. This offensive line has been playing great, Joey. can they do this? And like T-Money's saying, can they blitz their way to frustrating Cam, or do we have answers for that? Deep thoughts with Joe Real.
I think I don't think they can stop Cam. You know, even if they put a spy on him, they don't have the athleticism for one man to stop him. You know, a linebacker he's going to outrun, a safety he's going to run over. So, you know, it's kind of a lose-lose. We always have the advantage on offense because we can set up all 10 of our guys to block and leave one-on-one with Cam. And Cam's going to win any one-on-one matchup, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you can... Yeah, you can put in also, if you like what you were talking about with what Straight Facts was talking about with how these run plays are often pass plays, you know, the option to pass the ball, not just an option to ditch it off or something like that. You know, one thing that we like to do is we like to trot out Ed Dixon out there and Greg Olson, throw one receiver on the outside. What Cam's going to do is he can look for that deep field look. He can look to run it, and he can also you know, hit Olsen in those bats. So those are blockers and receivers at the same time. Right. So like you're saying, not only can you line up, and so it's like having it's 11 on 10 as T Money indicated before. Switching gears to the other side of the ball. Our defense against their offense. So what I would say is that, so let's just say this, is that their defense versus our offense is kind of a wash, like a toss-up, because we've got the number one offense in the league versus number one scoring versus the number one defense. On the other side of the ball, things are a lot different. Our defense is gelling at this moment. The pass rush has been exemplary in the last 2 games. We're playing a team with a relatively weak offensive line that struggled tremendously early in the year. They've run the ball a little bit better towards the end of the season, but that was not with Peyton Manning again. And then they have Peyton Manning, who is just a shell of himself, or looks like it appears that way. Mel, tell us what you're seeing, what you think we can expect our defense to do against their offense.
Well, they are ranked 16th in yards on offense, and they're ranked 19th in points. They're averaging 22.2 points per game, so 19th against our defense. That goes to show if we can score. I think the Mendoza line is if we score over 20 points, we win. Going against the number one defense, that's not going to be extremely easy, but I think we'll do it. I mean, our defense. Our defense against that offense, I think we hold them to 14, 17 points, that type of range.
I don't think they score more than 10.
You don't think they score? All right, tell us why, T-Money.
Just because I don't see, like, honestly, Peyton might get taken out in the body bag. Like,
yes.
They rotate their line. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I would say he is so immobile. I mean, when he's back there, he really has no escape route. He's going to have to get rid of the ball, just dump the ball, because he just physically he's not able to
key to the game. Key to the game. You stop C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman. They can't run the ball. You make Peyton Manning one-dimensional. We'll kill him.
But C.J. and Ronnie is good.
If they get that running. What's that?
CJ and Ronnie is good AFC backs, but NFC-wise, you got your Marshons, your Adrian Petersons, your Devontae Freeman. They not on nobody in the top NFC.
But it's all about scheme. If we go out there and we put the personnel out there to shut down Peyton, and we leave it to where they can run, then we got to start changing up who we put in the game, which will free things up for Peyton. But if we can stop their running game in our base defense, it's going to be a long day for the Broncos.
Yeah, I think the point he's making, he's hitting the nail right on the head, T-Money, when you say that. Like, those running backs, if you were to bring them into the NFC, they wouldn't have near the success that if you were to put like a Marshawn Lynch or an Adrian Peterson with the Broncos in the AFC. Just the AFC, I don't want to say, well, I'm going to say it. I think the AFC is just a softer conference. The NFC is much more hard-nosed.
Running back wise, I mean, when everybody's healthy, it's really Jamal Charles, and I can't think of nobody elite in the AFC that's a
And even Jamal Charles isn't one of those hard-nosed kind of guys. He's more of a speed
He's a home
guy,
run
shifty
hitter.
guy.
He's a home run hitter.
He's going to get around you rather than going through you.
As far as scheme, I mean, Kubiak, he running that zone. It's pretty much like playing Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's
true. Let me say this, is though the Panthers, in games where we have struggled, if you would say struggled, right? The ones that have been closer and are one loss, the teams have all run the ball effectively on us. If you think back to the Green Bay game, you started Lacey and Starks did enough damage to keep us honest and give honest on defense to where then Aaron Rodgers was able to start to open up the passing game some.
That's right.
You saw against the Atlanta game, they ran the ball with Freeman that game pretty well. I mean, not anything fantastic because I know that was Julio Jones' game, but another game that comes to mind, I feel like it was the Tampa game temporarily. Yeah,
But
Giants game.
But the Giants game is probably the game that
Rashard Jennings went off on us.
Yeah, he did.
Right. And so when we can't do that, when we're not shutting the run game, when we're not sniffing it out, is that what that is expose weaknesses on the back end for us. Because here's really what I see, and I'm not an X and O guy, so I'll let you guys correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like when we're not stopping the run, we can't let Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis be those.
You got to make them one-dimensional. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And so when they have to step up into a more run defense role, it takes them out of their game a little bit because they can't just be back there reacting to.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. I'm glad the professor's right about something every now and then. Yes, right on. I was also right about the Panthers winning.
Yes, sir.
I feel like we have to do.
We got to do Abby's favorite segment. I got to think about Abby singing Fact or Fiction.
Okay.
She has a bad week if she doesn't get to sing that. That's what I hear.
Okay. Well, here, we'll do it just for her. I think I got it lined up somewhere. I thought I did. I brought it into the sound effects earlier. Go ahead and sing it, Mel, because I don't see it.
No, this is
here it is.
All right, that's Joey's favorite song.
Backdoor Fiction. That's right. I heard the major backdoor friction was happening in Denver when Von Miller tried to rub his nuts on Tom Brady's face.
Well, yeah.
You know what my initial reaction was to that is I'm pretty sure he's not the first guy that's done that.
Oh.
Tuesday night out behind the bar. Some guy was rubbing his nuts on Tom Brady's face. All right. Fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? Cam's shoes will make national news within the next 11 days. Mel, I'll let you start.
With all those rhinestones and diamonds on those shoes that he's been known for in the last 16 weeks, put him on the national stage for Media Day, I'm going to go with fact. His shoes will be on USA Today front page in the next 11 days.
All right. I heard the shoes he wore before this game. I didn't get to see them because I was too busy cheering for every other thing in the crazy planet of the vault. But I heard they had everybody's signature or name on them from the entire team.
That's
Yeah,
right.
all of his
That's
teammates,
right.
all his teammates were on his shoes. Their names were on his shoes, and his initials were like the
Isn't that
Velcro
awesome?
wrap that goes like around the ankle. He had his initials on that, and then his teammates actually on the shoe.
How awesome
I
is
thought
that?
that was really cool. It was white with the writing in Panther blue.
Yeah,
That was sweet.
that's awesome. Mr.
That was
Self.
sweet.
For me, all I can think of is what an asshole Cam Newton is. I mean, he hates his teammates
Right.
hate him. The whole world
Right.
hates him. He's a selfish
Oh,
jerk.
we got that in the Ice Up Sun segment.
Oh gosh, I'm so sick of it. I'm just so sick of it. All right, T Money, fact or fiction? Cam Newton's shoes make national news this week.
Fact. And honestly, yeah, them ones from last game is probably my favorite that he's wore.
Yes.
Which ones?
The ones that he had on last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were nice. They were nice.
How
I
cool
mean,
is that?
it's really a tribute to the team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's
It
awesome.
really is.
It had their names and numbers in it.
Oh, did he really? That's
Oh,
awesome.
did it?
That's awesome.
Man, what a good teammate, man. What a good guy. Yes, I think it's fact too that his shoes will be on the media. If not on media day, then during the Super Bowl, his shoes will be on TV.
Yes, sir.
And the warm-ups.
Next fact or fiction? Peyton Manning will have over 150 yards passing against the Panthers. Joe, you open.
I think that's fact. 150 yards. I think it's going to be 20-20. You know, it'll be between the 20.
So you put him like at. So what do you think is that he's going to get like 225 yards?
No, I don't think he'll get that many. I think he'll get maybe like 170, 180, somewhere around there.
All right. Team Money, fact or fiction? Peyton Manning has over 150 yards passing.
Fiction. He won't finish the game. Brock will be in there.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Yeah, because he's going to be carted off. You know, you're not the only person that's saying that around.
Because injury, I don't think he has a lot of leeway. Yes, I mean, it's his last ride, but if they get down, man, Brock's ready to go.
Yeah. What do you think? They're probably a little bit better with him, man, to be honest, and that's the craziest thing to say. All right, Mel, 150 yards passing, more, fact or fiction?
I'm going fiction, man. We're going to tee off on him. We're going to shut down that run, and then we're going to knock the sheriff down, and it's just going to be a domination. He's going to get 120 yards total.
120 yards total. I like that. All right, next fact or fiction. Last fact or fiction. Demaryius Thomas will have more drops than Philly Brown. Team Money, you start.
Surprised you didn't go Tig in there, Professor.
I was going to, but I decided I gotta stop after.
After the way he's been playing.
I hear you.
I'll say fact, just because I don't think Philly. First of all, he's anywhere as close targets, but I don't think he's gonna drop any like that.
Right. You know what? That first catch was still a body catch in this game.
Talking about the 80-something yarder.
Nah, I think wasn't his first one the one like the first or second play of the game where he like
first
fell
play.
down across.
Yeah, like 15 yards. Or so. Yeah.
All right, Mel, fact or fiction? Demaryius Thomas, more drops.
I'm gonna say fiction on that. I think Philly will have a drop or two, and Demaryius is a world-class receiver, but
he's been dropping the ball like crazy lately.
Yeah, not against New England. He didn't. He did it against Kansas City.
Demaryius always had a problem with drops, though.
He's a man child though, and let's don't get crazy. He's a heck of a receiver.
Honestly, I'm putting McClain on him.
Ooh.
I know. That's great.
If I could go one-on-one, man, I'm putting
McClain is fast.
Let's don't get overconfident, guys.
He wants to put, but
let me
this is an interesting point, and I like this. T-Money, tell them where this comes from.
I'm going to put Josh Norman on Emmanuel Sanders. First of all, Emmanuel Sanders actually is a better playmaker in the two of them in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a double Demaryius Thomas. And I always like that, whether it's with Revis, whether it was with Sherman. I think that shutdown corner, you let them pick that second receiver out the game totally, you double that top.
But did you guys not get the sense? Did you guys not get the sense that McDermott was working overtime? It was not one-on-one. It was not Norman on one guy. It was not McClain on one guy. It was overall scheme. I mean, our defensive backfield looked awesome.
We mixed it up, but when we ran man, it was Norman on Floyd, Shaq on Larry, and McClain on John Brown.
Yeah, but you got a point, but it was darn good scheme. We don't run that scheme where it's one-on-one. It's you're mixing it up between you drop Shaq back in coverage.
I'm not putting Norman on Demaryius Thomas.
I think the thing is this. I think the one thing that I would not be, I'm not really too concerned about with Emmanuel Sanders is I don't know if Peyton can capitalize on his skill set down the field. And really, that's where he can beat us, is that unless they run like a wide receiver screen, he breaks the tackle and takes it upfield. He's not Peyton. I don't think can throw it that far downfield to get those big chunk plays.
I'd like to see him try. I want to see what happens.
If you watch him, Emmanuel Sanders makes more athletic plays than Demaryius Thomas. Honestly,
Emmanuel Sanders is a great player. He's a great player. What I'm just saying is I don't think Peyton can exploit that.
But I'm saying
he doesn't have the arm to get it downfield.
Demaryius is bigger, but they run. When I see them, they run more wide receiver screens to Demaryius than Emmanuel. Emmanuel is that one that he does a little bit of everything. Really, even though they got it mixed up in their offense, Emmanuel is number one, and Demaryius is really when I watch Denver. Their first reads is usually Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
When Peyton's in trouble in the game, even versus the Patriots, when he's throwing them.
Aren't you glad Julius Thomas isn't there anymore?
Nah, I put Shaq on him.
Julius Thomas was a beast in that offense.
He was really good. He was really good. And Peyton had a good chemistry with him, unlike he seems like with these tight ends. All right, we got to get out of this here. It's 11 past, so we got our last segment to do, guys. We missed the segment that Joey prepared. I'm so sorry, Joey. But we're going to jump in, and actually we've got to do our Super Bowl picks.
Let's wait till next week.
Yeah, we got a whole other week, buddy.
That's right, I forget.
Yeah, let's wait till next week.
Okay. All right,
we might even have a special show in store. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. All right, so here, we're going to drop our Ice Up picks of the week. And this is where we tell somebody in the world, no one is safe. Everyone is fair game. Someone to ice up.
Is it true? Is it true that you iced up a sick cancer child patient in Africa like 6 weeks ago?
No, that is not true. That's not true. Okay. That is not true. All right, Joey, you got one for us?
Yeah, I got one. It's nothing special, but I have one in mind. My ice up pick this week goes to the Seattle fan that has tried to get a restraining order on Cam Newton for next season when we make the trip to Seattle.
What?
Because she has filed with the police there in Seattle a restraining order on Cam Newton because of what he did to that fan of Seattle in Charlotte when he took the flag down and ripped it out of her hands.
Poor guy.
So, in response to that, this fan, I think it was a woman, if I remember correctly, went to the police department and is trying to file a restraining order so that Cam Newton would not be allowed in CenturyLink Field next season when we go there. Now that is, for one, that is stupid, and for two, that is pure desperation because they don't want him to go up there and kick any more backsides.
That's it. That's it.
To that person, for so stupidly going and trying to file a restraining order that I'm sure the police said, get out of here. I say to you, ice up, idiot.
660 people signed that stupid petition.
Oh my God.
Ice them all up.
If anything, they would just say, "Hey, don't go to the game. You can watch on TV."
Right. What an idiot.
Oh, it's just stupid. It's just a stupid press grab. All right, T-Money, who's your ice up pick this week?
As much as I want to do Bruce Arians, I already got on him enough. I'm gonna go Jamie Dukes.
Ooh, I like it.
We're trying to. I was listening to the Mag Attack this morning, and they was talking about. Well, they played the clip too with Jamie Dukes pretty much trying to give no credit to anybody on our team but Cam, and not in the front office too. Pretty much saying Gettleman didn't do anything to help us. He's made so many moves. I mean, whether it's Kurt Coleman, who was just on the street, had 2 picks last game. Trey Boston, a guy he drafted, a pick in a fumble recovery. Ted Ginn, being a real wide receiver again.
Who did Jamie Dukes play for?
Atlanta.
There you go. Tells you all you need to know.
Go ahead, Therese. I'm sorry.
He never even went to a Super Bowl, let alone won one.
Right.
Ice up, son.
I was going to say, how much sweeter was this for Ted Ginn? Not only the fact that he's going to the Super Bowl, but that he beat his old team.
He got the game ball. He got the game ball after the game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, Mel, I think you got one for us too, right? You want me to play something for you?
I do. Cue the music,
right.
Baby. Cue the music.
Why, hello, world. I'm sorry, but that game tonight, they obviously, the Panthers obviously cheated their way to victory. I don't know what they did. I know last week with the Seahawks, what it was the field was obviously like really muddy and rough. Now the Seahawks weren't playing up to par.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
But they didn't let the Seahawks practice. So you got to realize that they didn't let the Seahawks practice on their field.
Okay.
And they didn't even cover up the field. They let it get muddy and wet last week.
Yeah,
and
last
so
week.
that would have enabled them to win last week.
Bullshit.
Now, this week, there was something going on. That score got way high, way quick. I mean,
dude.
Freaking, I think the last score was 42 to 15. Now, how's that even possible?
How is it possible?
Okay, I don't even know. They had to be reading play calls or something. They had to have a mic on their side or a camera or something on their side. Because how do you get
seriously?
How do you get that intercept every single freaking ball? How is that?
Every ball.
They had to have been cheating. I mean, they're sore winners.
Right. Enough.
That's brutal, man.
I've never even heard the term a sore winner.
Sore winner. I love
exactly.
It. All right, so this has been going out there on the internet. This guy, but you know what? I'm not even going to just ice him up. It's the Seattle 12s, the Seattle Seahawks 12th man, who endless number of fans out there have been crying and bitching and moaning that Cam Newton is a classless winner because he ripped down the 12-man flag, balled it up, and threw it into the middle of the field, just did not care how he felt. I mean, this guy epitomizes the 12th man that said, you know what, they are so good, they must have been cheating. They had to be in the earphone of the opposing team. There's no way they scored 49 points and win like that after beating Seattle like that. The one time we pulled for Arizona, they do this, and they score 49 points. They got to be cheating. Well, you know what? There's one team in the NFL that cheats, and that's the New England Patriots, and they're sitting at home. They're sitting at home. So, all of you 12th man fans, yes, we are that damn good. Cam Newton is that damn good. You and us and everybody else is living in the Madden video game of Cam Newton. He is the man. He has set the tone. And as long as he keeps that up, everybody in the NFL can ice up Son. But for this week, I'm calling out these people that are crying, saying that we're so good, we got to be cheating. 12th man, get over yourselves. Go drink your lattes. Go out there and enjoy that miserable weather that I saw all day today, the sprinkling, the nastiness that is Seattle. Ice up, son. Come back next year and do your best.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where these, like, they just look so dumb that I can't even bother. Now, look, I worked up a good ice up pick until Missy sent me a great. I had my work prepared ice up pick before Missy Russell tweeted me, and our boy C3 writer Trip Morgan texted me. Both hit me at like the same exact time, and they showed me something. So that I'm gonna have to change my ice up pick, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys. I'm just gonna write a story about this one instead. There's a guy. Do you guys remember when Cam Newton said that we should hold sports writers accountable if they're going to hold players accountable?
There you go.
One of the things that we have been very clear is that this show isn't. We are not journalists, and our website is not. We don't claim to be journalists. We don't want to be journalists. We don't report the news. We comment on it. We let the Jonathan Jones, the Bill Voth report, and we retort. We sharpen our Twitter swords in defense of the Carolina Panthers. But there are guys out there who claim to be journalists and pose as journalists who are just a bunch of damn idiots. The one that has just infuriated me the most is a guy by the name of Scott Kaczmar. He is a writer for Pro Football Focus, I think, or something. It's whatever. He's not a writer. He is a big freaking idiot. He is a no-name Skip Bayless, and I just call him Scott Kaczmar. But he says this. I pulled up his Twitter feed for the last year. Here's some things he said. I've said the Chiefs and Panthers are overrated. The Jets are too. That's an 8-9 team most years, helped by playing AFC South and NFC East. He says this. He picked the Giants to beat us. In the Dallas game, he said, I do believe Dallas can win that game. He said 9-0, exaggerating Newton's season. At one point in the season, he said this. When Jared Allen was traded to the Panthers, he said Minnesota's 2009 team was better than the Panthers' 2015. What? He said that Dante Culpepper was better than Cam. He said, I mean, it goes on and on and on. So to you, buddy, I'm working up a whole story. I'm tracking down every tweet where you've mentioned Cam Newton and the Panthers.
Can't wait to read it.
I'm getting after you, brother. In fact, I've already got a special widget created where I can filter every tweet this dude's made where he's mentioned the Panthers and Cam Newton's name. So we got an argument. We got an argument earlier this year when they signed Cam Newton. So guess what? I'm holding you accountable, buddy. You were my ice up pick, but you don't deserve it. Who deserves my ice up pick this week is I'm so mad, guys. I don't even know what to say.
Did that supposed reporter pull a Karasik on you?
Ooh. No, not yet. He has not blocked me yet, but he will. Don't you worry. As soon as this story comes out.
No, Karasik is to block you and then to come back and invite you to be a friend.
All right.
He never did it with me. Any conversation I've been
So tonight I'm eating dinner. I just found out some great family news about my sister and her husband, and we're celebrating, having this nice family celebration. And I get a tweet from Missy Russell. You can follow her at Missy Russell 81, and also get a same time a text from Trip Morgan. Turns out that Carolina, he used to be called Panthers News on Twitter. Now I think the name is CAR, C-A-R, Panthers News, right? he runs a Twitter feed where it's like an aggregator, I guess, where they just retweet stories. And he has also been accused by several people of stealing tweets and trying to report, like watching the main reporters that follow the Carolina Panthers and then copying their tweets and not really giving them credit. Bill Voth, I believe, has called him out for not ever creating reporting. Like he said, you shouldn't call yourself news when you don't ever report any news. You know, I ran into this dude at the, and this is a strange story too. I ran into this guy at the Carolina not Fan Fest, the first day of training camp, and I was out there selling the Cam Wows. And the dude didn't have even the nerve to ask me, but his buddy that was with him rolls up to me and says, "Hey, this guy here, he's got this Twitter feed and it's got 10,000 followers. Why don't you give us a Cam Wow and we'll retweet it?" I said, "Get out of here, bro." Yeah. I said, "You can just buy one. They're $5, you
That's
dickhead."
it.
I mean, it's like, God, I know.
Come on to $5, dude.
I said, I mean, I wasn't mean to him. I was like, "Nah, man. I mean, it's just $5. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
So this is that guy. So I have it now. He's never ever tweeted anything that we've done, right? So tonight he announces that he is opening a carpanthers.com website soon, and it's going to be the most professional fan site out there. And then he drops what appears to be his catchphrase for his website, hashtag by the fans for the fans.
What? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
And I was waiting. Yeah. I honestly look at his tweets a lot. I never knew who it was. I look at their tweets a lot just to see stuff if I missed it. But wow.
All right, so on top of that, he also has been caught for, I mean, like, the way he's phrased everything, basically he took the wording of Bill Voth's website and our website and mashed them together.
Is he the one selling C3 Pete shirts on Trade and Tryon?
Probably.
Probably.
So I can't wait to see this guy's website, because I'm pretty sure he's going to have a podcast on 10 o'clock on Tuesday nights where he has ice up picks at the end of the week.
And I also got that copyrighted though. That's all y'all.
It's all right. It's all right. So what this dude is since he's by the fans for the fans, he can't be the professor because he's wordy. Because by fans for fans is crisp and clean. Maybe he'll want to say something like this: how about because fans make football more than a little kid's game. Maybe he can make it that. Maybe he can add
a little familiar. Yeah,
add
a little
familiar
familiar
to our phrase. Or maybe, why don't we just go ahead and deem your nickname, sir? Because I'm sure you'll have nicknames like we give everybody here. Straight Facts is in the house. Mel Mayock's in the house. Freaking Puerto Ricans in the house. The professor's in the house. You know what you are? You're the plagiarist. You're the damn plagiarist. So to you, sir, I say, ice up, son.
I give you a dab on them, folks, for that ice up, son.
And I second that ice up, because that is weak. Why are you going to bring any game if that's the only game you got? That is not even your game. That is weak.
Maybe you should do this.
Write a blog about it. Brownie played well. These guys played hard.
Go write a blog about it.
Go write a blog.
You are just... I don't even have a name for you anymore, except Cow Turd.
That's funny. I don't care who you are.
This is the C3 podcast. Joey, while I'm cueing the music, tell them how they can hit us up.
Folks, you know, C3 is short for CarolinaCatChronicles.com, and that's where you can find us. at CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where this story that Tony's going to have that he was talking about earlier will be posted. I can't wait to read it. Because when Tony sets his mind to something, he does it 100% the right way. He is so thorough. You're going to enjoy reading that post when Tony has it ready. I'm looking forward to it. So remember, CarolinaCatChronicles.com is the place for all the hottest news about the Carolina Panthers from the fans' perspective.
Mel Mayock, how can they hit you up? You're active in social media.
Guys, we are nothing but fans, for the fans. We're just having fun, man. We're celebrating the fact that we're going to the freaking Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl.
Where we going,
50.
folks? The
Super Bowl. Let's freaking enjoy it, man. Let's soak in every moment and then freaking enjoy it. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com every day. Enjoy the fan perspectives about your Carolina Panthers and what's going on. Next week we'll get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty, but this week we're just enjoying the fact that we're at the damn Super Bowl. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy it. So you can catch me at Panthers Drafter on Twitter. I'm talking the draft. I'm talking Panthers all the time. At DraftTech.com, got a new mock draft coming out later this week. Check us out there. But in the meantime, just enjoy the dang Super Bowl. Come on. We're not guaranteed anything.
Enjoy. You're right, Mel. Relish in it.
12 years. It could be another 12 years before we get back.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Make the most of it.
T-Money, one of the oldest friends of the show. Tell them what you spit and how they can get after you.
It's your boy, Mr. T-Money 1993, spit straight in the building, man. You can catch me on YouTube, Mr. T-Money 1993, and on Twitter, T-Muhammad23.
Word up. You know this is the professor, not the plagiarist. It's all original here. It's all original. It's been created from the very first fan. You know what? We're nothing special. We're just fans that are being fans. And we thank everybody. We had a fantastic show tonight. Ton of viewers. Ton of conversation going on YouTube. Ton of conversation going on Twitter. We thank you. And I can't tell you, man, how pumped we are for this Super Bowl. You can check that out. You can follow us on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. You can like us on Facebook. You can do all that. But you can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com for all the latest Panther news and opinions from the fan perspective. And with that, sir, the professor is out.
Boom!